Good morning. Today we are starting book 2 to start off try 2. We are on CO29. I can convert percentages and fractions. So this unit we are working on percentages. There is a magic number when we talk about percentages. Any guess what our magic number is going to be? Math. 100. So this is a number we need to remember. A lot of these objectives will focus on that number 100 in some way, shape, or form. So big thing to remember, this whole unit, the number 100 with percentages. So to start out, we need the definition of percent. Percent literally means out of 100. Centa, when we look at what that root word means 100. A century is 100 years, right? That C-E-N-T. Think about how many cents are in a dollar. 100 cents in a dollar. So that 100 is that magic number. So 71% literally means 71 out of 100. It can be written as 71 out of 100. So we can write it as that fraction. 71% is 71 hundredths. So 49% literally means 49 out of 100. This can be written as 49 out of 100. So 49 hundredths. 161% literally means 161 out of 100. This literally means 161 out of 100. 161 hundredths. Michael?
So 161 is over 100.
It is over 100. So what do we notice about the fraction that it makes? It's an improper fraction because 161 is more than 100. So think about a test. If you got all of your answers correct on the math test, plus you got the 2 extra credit points, you're earning more than 100%. So that percentage is bigger than the 100. So if you got all of them right, you might end up with like 106%. So that would be 106 over 100. Does that make sense? It's a good observation. We can have percentages that are more than 100. It means it's more than one whole. So when we look at those fractions, we'll notice they are improper because there's one whole plus more, whereas our other percentages are less than 100%. 25% literally means 25 out of 100. So we can write that as 25 hundredths. Uh-oh. It's fractions. What is our final step with fractions, Avery? Simplify. So we need to remember when we're working with these fractions, we will be simplifying our fractions at the end. So what would 25 hundredths simplify down to, Joy? 1/4. We can divide 25 out of 25 to get 1, and 100 divided by 25 is 4. Remember, when we are simplifying, we are using that same scale factor. So we are dividing the top and the bottom by the same number. So we need to remember that simplifying rules. We will be simplifying in this unit. We need to remember that. Same scale factor. Whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Same number. So we are going to convert each percent to a fraction. So since we're putting it into a fraction, we need to make sure it's in its simplest form. So let me erase so I can scroll up and we can see what we are doing. So 82%, what is our first fraction that we are going to write? Rhoda.
82 over 100.
82 over 100. 82% is 82 hundredths. What do we have to check? Rhoda,
Can it be simplified?
can it be simplified? Is there a number I can divide out of the top and the bottom, Rhoda?
Yeah. 2.
I can divide them both by 2. We know from our divisibility rules, 100 or 82 and 100 are both even numbers. We can divide them by that 2. What is 82 divided by 2? Rhoda?
41.
And what is 100 divided by 2, Rhoda?
50.
50. Can I go any simpler? No. 41 and 50 don't share any factors. This is my final answer. So 82% is 41/50ths. So make sure you're showing your work. Give me that first fraction that has the 100 on as your denominator, and that percent is your numerator. Then check to see, can I simplify? Go as low as you can go, but you have to be able to divide that same scale factor out of both the top and the bottom. You can't do different numbers. You can't say divided by 3 and divided by 2. Has to be the same scale factor when we simplify. Any questions on putting our percents into a fraction? Let's do one more together. 75% would be what fraction? Michael, give me the first original fraction.
75 over 100.
75 hundredths. Am I done? No, what do I have to do, Michael?
You have to simplify.
What can I divide out of 75 that I can also divide out of 100? Haley? I can divide a 5 out of both because we can see it ends in a 5 and a 0. 75 divided by 5 is 15. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Am I done?
No.
Why aren't I done, Vinny?
Because you can take 5 out of it.
I can divide 5 again. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Am I done?
Yes.
Yes, there's nothing I can divide out of 3 and 4. So sometimes we just simplify it once. Sometimes we have to keep simplifying it till we get as low as we go. Sometimes it's already going to be as simple as it gets. Sometimes we don't have to simplify down. 9% would be 9 hundredths. That's as simple as it gets. I can't get any smaller than 9 hundredths. So make sure you're checking those simplifying rules. Think about the divisibility rules that we did in the last unit. What can I divide both the top number and the bottom number by? Our next section says to convert from a fraction to a percent, our focus goes to the denominator of the fraction. Because percent literally means out of 100, any numerator over denominator of 100 represents the percentage. Not every denominator will be 100 though. There are some friendly numbers. So below are some of these friendly denominators. Looking at these numbers, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50. Why do you think we call these friendly denominators? Rhoda?
Because they're pretty easy to get 10 or 100.
Yeah, because these numbers are easy to multiply up to 100. So if I have a 1 as my denominator, what do I multiply it by to get to 100? Michael? 100. If I have 2 as my denominator, what should I multiply it by to get to 100? Fernanda?
50.
If I have 4 as 4 as a denominator, what do I multiply it by to get to 100? Vinny? 25. If I have 5 as my denominator, what should I multiply it by? Presley? 20. If I have 10 as a denominator, what should I multiply by? Joy? 10. If I have 20 as a denominator, what should I multiply it by? Haley?
5.
If I have 25 as a denominator, Matt?
4.
And if I have 50 as a denominator, Leo? These friendly denominators will help us. This is a table that we will be able to have on our help sheet, so we remember what scale factor to multiply the bottom by, and then that same number we multiply the top by. So let's see how this works. If we look at 3/5, we don't have 100 as our denominator. That is our magic number. Our first step is to get our denominator to be 100. What scale factor should I multiply 3/5 by to get 100 as my denominator? Michael?
20.
Yeah, if we look up here, 5 times 20 gets us to 100, so I know I need to write that scale factor in. 5 times 20 gets me 100, so then I need to do 3 times 20. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So what is my new numerator, Vinny? 60. 3 times 20 is 60. So now I have 60 hundredths. What do I do to turn that into a percentage? Michael? Yeah, I take that numerator. If it's over 100, I know that is going to become my percentage. It is important that we put our label on there, 60%, because 60 is very different than 60%. You must have a percentage on there when we are converting to percentage. Okay? It does say show your work. So I want to see what scale factor you multiplied by to get to your fraction that's over 100 to get to your percentage. Let's try one more. 9/25. I need to get it to be 100. What scale factor should I use, Jack? 4. 4. We can see up with our friendly denominators, 4 times 25, 25 times 4. So you're going to look at your denominator, 25 times 4. So I know I have 100 as my denominator. 25 times 4 is 100. What is my new numerator? Audrey. 36. 9 times 4 is 36. So now I have 3,600. Can I take that to find my percentage? Yes, I can. If you have 100 as your denominator, you can find that percent easy. What is my percentage? Evelyn?
26.
Yeah, 36%. Again, make sure that you have your 100 as your denominator. You multiply the top by the same scale factor. You take that numerator and turn it into that percent. 36 hundredths is 36%. The percent sign is important on the test. If it's asking for a percent and you don't give that percent sign, it will be wrong. Make sure if it's asking for a percentage, you give me the percent sign. Okay, important details. In math, details matter. Okay. Any questions on how to turn these fractions into percentages? So remember, what's the important number for our denominator? What number do we have to remember? Charlotte? 100. So you have to turn that 100, or that denominator into 100. So look to see what scale factor you're going to multiply by. Make sure you multiply the numerator by the same scale factor. So when I write 20 over 20, and then we multiply across, that's what you should be writing. So you remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So that's our first page. Let's look at our second page. Now we have, word problems. It's easy to get a little scared with the word problems. We're not continuing our work on the front page. We're turning to the second. So look at those word problems. Here's the thing. We're doing the same math. It's word problems, so we need to figure out what information those word problems are giving us, but the math is still trying to find those fractions and percents, right? So, Shevin Kultz, he's Russian, the famous basketball player, made 60% of his shots one game. What fraction of his shots did he make? What do you think our first fraction we should write would be? Leo? 60 over 100, because we know 60% is 60 hundredths. Am I done? Shantria, why am I not done? I need to simplify. What scale factor can I divide out? Audrey, I can divide 10 out of both the top and the bottom. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. 100 divided by 10 is 10. Whew, simplified. Am I done? Vinny, why are you shaking, or not Vinny, Matt, why are you shaking your head?
Because you can divide both of those by 2.
I can still go smaller, and I can divide both by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now am I done? Yes, that is as low as I can go. In your history class, you have taken 2 tests. You scored 18 out of 25 on the first unit and 17 out of 20 on the second unit. What percent did you get on each test? What do you think I have to do for this one, Rhoda?
Make each number into a percentage and then
So how do I make 18/25ths into a percent?
multiply it by 4, of course,
Why would I multiply by 4 over 4, Rhoda?
to get to the 100.
Because my denominator needs to be 100. In order to go from a fraction to a percent, you need that magic number of 100. Whatever you multiply the bottom by, you multiply the top by. So 25 times 4 is 100. 18 times 4 is what, Rhoda?
56.
Not 56. Vinny?
72.
72. Because 4 times 8 is 32. So 72 hundredths, how do I make that a percent? I've got the magic number of 100. How do I turn it into my percentage? Jack?
The numerator is your percent.
Yeah. If I have 100 for my denominator, that numerator becomes my percentage. So it says, what percent did I get on each test? So that was the first test. My second test, I have 17/20ths. How do I turn that into a percentage? Haley? multiply by 5. Because 20 times 5 gives me that magic number of 100. Whatever I multiply the bottom by, I multiply the top by. What is 17 times 5? Matt? 85. So now I have 85 hundredths. How do I find my percent? Presley? I take that numerator and I turn it into a percent. By how much better was your percentage on the second unit than the first unit? How do I find that answer? Fernanda?
You can just subtract 82% minus 72%.
I subtract that 85% by the 72%. 85 minus 72, so 5 minus 2 is 3, 8 minus 7 is 1. There is a difference of 13%. So, you might just have to do something simple like finding the percent or finding the fraction. You might have to take it a step farther and do additional work to answer that question. Make sure you're reading your questions carefully so you can figure out what math we have to do each time. It is all, this unit is, or this objective is working on percents and fractions. Remember, we have to give our fraction as our answer, simplify it. If we're giving percents as an answer, make sure you found that 100 for your denominator, and whatever you multiply the bottom by to get 100, you multiply the top by. Some of these questions you have to think about. They're not always going to be easy. You have to do some critical thinking. What is it asking for? Am I answering the full question? I want you to really put some time and effort into this. When we do stuff like our math test in January, it's only a month away, we're not going to be able to get help on how to solve these word problems. So it really helps us to try to figure it out on our own. Okay? So I really want you to put some effort in some of these questions. We've got to do a little bit more work on. So really think them through. Any questions on today's homework? Remember, you have to finish that front side where it's just those fractions and percentages, and then work on your word problems. We will be correcting tomorrow, so make sure you're working hard on this, and if we have homework, you get your homework done. Let's start off second try on a good note. No mistakes. If you finish your work in class today, what should you do? Presley? Math packet number 5. Okay, we all have that. So it's not, oh, I'm done, I've got nothing to do, I'm just gonna be goofy and silly and socialize. We have math to do, okay? So let's quietly get to work. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.